People are already commenting. This is so exciting. Welcome. And we are officially live. Yay. Oh my goodness. Welcome to the May Cozy Mystery Book Club YouTube live stream discussion of Mimi Lee Gets a Clue. So there are 3 books in the series. I'm holding up all 3. But tonight we're talking about the first one in the series with a very special guest. She joined us before for our February live stream, A Lady's Guide to Etiquette and Murder. The lovely, the fabulous Tori, aka Eliza Luce. Oh my gosh. Lucy, I love her. She's so great.
Hello, everyone. I'm happy to be back. And we have the secondary special guest.
What a little cutie pie. He's so adorable.
Purring too. He did start purring. It's a very delicate, tiny little purr, but it's there.
What a little cutie pie. And the little bow tie is.
Oh yeah, he does have a bow tie because he's a special little man. He's a very fancy little guy. Yes, he's so very sweet. I have about a dozen bow ties for him, so.
And I get like a stuffed animal Pikachu, so like I have a very different variation over here to keep me company.
What were we talking about? I have my Pikachu in the back too, so it's okay.
My puppy has abandoned me for the time being. Maybe she'll say hello later, but she's like Marshmallow from the book. She is all white. So, but you're a little cat. Oh, the tail.
It's just going. It's my own fault. He was living his best life, and I grabbed him. So
yes, but
it felt appropriate. It felt appropriate.
You needed the cuteness in your life, so I mean,
exactly.
And I'm going to apologize in advance with the voice. I know it sounds awful. Clearly, I'm getting over something.
Oops, sorry.
No. Well, you guys can hear me apologize twice because I do know I sound pretty rough. So hopefully that's not too off-putting. Clear. I was traveling with my mother. We just got back. And so being around people, the tourist experience, somewhere along the way I picked up a germ and it decided to come back to Massachusetts with me. So hopefully I will still sound okay tonight and we can have all the cozy conversations that we like. So fingers crossed. Thank you. I appreciate that. Thank you. Yeah, I know. Hopefully this does not linger because there's too much to get done for the book club, right? I need to update our Etsy store. I need to open it again now that I'm back. So there's still things to accomplish. So hopefully this won't, knock me off for too long. But I mean,
Nobody has time to be sick, I feel that.
I mean, but there was no way I was going to miss tonight. First of all, I knew I had a co-host I could rely on because this woman is so awesome. Also, the fact she loves cats and was so excited to do this. I knew I was in good hands, regardless if my voice gave out or not. I knew we could count on this wonderful woman. So I am very happy that you are here doing this with me tonight because you make me feel a lot more at ease. That if my voice does go out, I know you can carry this cozy conversation.
I'll talk forever.
Well, I do have Tori's information. I made another graphic for you. I have all of her information. It's also linked in the description box. So if you're not already following her across platforms, please check out her accounts because if you want to learn about some of her reading and writing activities, she's doing a lot of different things.
I'm actually back on Instagram finally. I didn't post for I think like 2 years, and then I saw all of your cute posts on Instagram. Like, okay, and then coming on here too. You're like, here's her Instagram. I'm like, I should use that shit. Like, okay.
Oh, and I'm just clicking on. Thank you guys for joining. It's always so amazing to see everyone joining from across the country. I know we always have some international people pop up. So thank you. Yes, the bow tie was adorable. Just talking about your little cutie again. And going back, looking at the comments, I'm should probably mention this before the voice goes out. So tonight there are 2 books up for grabs. So one lucky sleuther is going to win 2 paperback cozy mysteries, courtesy of Kensington Cozies, The Plotting Shed Murder, and My Father Always Finds the Corpses, which is such a title that title alone makes me want to pick up that book. I haven't read it yet. It's on my TBR, but I love that title. So every comment tonight translates to a giveaway entry. At the end of the night, I archive everything and then I go through your comments. So if I don't see your comment tonight, if I don't shout it out on the, the screen here, it does not mean it's not going to get read. I will be going through them all, and one lucky sleuther will be randomly selected to win the 2 paperbacks. So all your comments, they will be read and they count towards the giveaway. So please keep that in mind. And if there is something you want to talk about, comment twice, comment as much as you like, because you could win.
That is what a name for a book.
Right?
Like, that is such a good name. I'm because I love titling books. That's one of my, because I like puns. So I know a lot of people have
puns?
I love puns. Yeah. So I was like it's perfect. Like cozy mystery, and I write romance. So like for anyone who doesn't know me, so like romance and like cozy mysteries, I feel like are like this when it comes to puns, like, so I love good book titles. And I think this is a very good book title,
I was going to say I can pull it up. So Mimi Lee Gets a Clue. This is the first book in the Sassy Cat mystery series by Jennifer J. Chow. And there are only 3 books in this particular series. So if you want to, you could always binge it over the weekend. If you ever want to do, a Saturday, Sunday, stay in bed and just read coziness. But I am so excited to talk about this book with y'all because everyone's had a lot of different comments with this. We have a cat who can speak with this sort of telepathic connection with just one person. And you guys are already commenting about Marshmallow. So I made this graphic. I don't know why this is what I had in mind, but we have Marshmallow. So I had to go find some Marshmallow images. But we have this sassy white cat. And of course, I had to go find some B-roll to showcase some kitty cuteness. Because this book is all about the cozy companions. This book is embracing the cozy companions to their fullest. And I feel like she does such a wonderful job of making it so you have the dog lovers. So you have the dogs who are being rescued. It has to do with the puppies, the Chihuahuas. But then at the same time, she has a cat. So if you're a dog lover, you're covered. If you love cats, even better because you have Marshmallow.
And if you're like me and you like both, I'm more than happy because I do have mostly cat things. I will tell everyone. I was saying earlier, I have about half a dozen cat earrings. But I do genuinely like dogs. I think you muted, maybe.
Yep, I had a coughing fit.
Oh, no.
So if you want to take over for a minute, please.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, no worries. So oh, poor thing. But yeah, so I think it is fun that they did have both the sassy cat and the dog in this, especially because she runs a dog, a grooming business. So it's kind of funny that she did have the little Marshmallow cat in here, which I think it did play into the, no matter what you like, we do have both. But yeah, I can only pick one cat or one dog. Yeah, listen, I like both. I do like both, but I can only deal with having cat in the city, and I live in New York City, so it gets a little crazy here. But yes. Yeah, I can. Yes, Grace. I can also relate to cats. No, I can relate to cats. I want to be comfy, cozy. Here's my problem. I have been described as a golden retriever. So while I like cats and I think of myself as like cat, I am called a golden retriever often in my life. So, yeah. I do like the name Hollywoof. I was seeing from Shauna. I think the name Hollywoof is very funny. Like,
and
as
it's
a
image. I like it's on the book cover.
Yeah. It's very cute. Again, as somebody who enjoys puns, yes, the pun store title is very funny. It was, and I think there's a lot of humor in this, I will say. It was supposed to be a very goofy, kind of funny book. I will say, I think she was a little bit all over the place.
In what way?
Mimi Lee was just like bouncing all over LA, which like I've been to LA once, but I also know people who live in LA, and there is no such thing as getting from like bouncing around, you know, which was very funny to me because the author's from LA, or at least lives in LA. So I was laughing because I was like, you're just going all over LA, and like, oh, just for my lunch break, I'll pop over. I'm like, doesn't it take like an hour to get between everything? But yeah, she does end up, you know, I think she bounces around a lot, and there is not as big of a cast of characters, though, I will say, because I think that's the thing that is hard for me with cozies or just mysteries, is I have a hard time with a huge cast of characters unless their names are very different, because I have problems with like keeping characters in my head, especially if they're very similar. But there wasn't a huge cast, and I did write down everyone's name still, though.
I liked that it was a small cast of characters. It was very easy.
Yeah, it did make it easier to keep track of. You know, and then each of them I felt like also had a more distinct thing about them. It wasn't, you know, yeah, purse party and dog yoga. Like, I feel like everyone was very distinct. It didn't feel like everybody was, it didn't feel as if everyone was the same type of person. Everybody had kind of a distinct personality, or had at least one thing specific about them. You know, like we have, you know, everyone might be a dog yoga mom or have a dog, but they're still very different. You know, like we have the, you know, the PTA mom and the, you know, the hustling, you know, bag owner, and she was funny. She was probably one of my favorites.
The hustling bag owner.
Yeah, I mean, that was very annoying, I will say, as somebody who also lives in a big city. I don't know if anybody else has one of those friends who's always trying to sell something. Sorry, I'm gonna kill you. But yeah, it's very annoying to have somebody who's always trying to sell something. So it gets a little irritating. Yes, Indira, she's a fun character, but I was also like, yeah, MLM friends. She kind of at some points did feel a little bit like an MLM friend, you know, where you're like, we're not even friends. We're just like, you're just trying to sell me something. Which I get as a crafter, you know, I do a lot of crafting. People are always trying to sell their stuff, but yeah. Hey, girly, are you interested in a great opportunity? Yeah, so, see, everyone has that.
So they said that there are a couple comments up here saying they were having a hard time separating Lauren and Tammy, and that happened to me a couple of times. But after a certain point, I was kind of more able to do it. But it did take me a few instances of seeing these two different characters in a couple different scenes. Because I get that comment, though. They were the only ones I encountered that with, though.
They weren't as distinct, I will say, because I think because they were both married to like a you know, wealthy man, so it also kind of felt a little more as part of their personality is like socialite. Like a lot of them at least had like more distinct characteristics to them. So, but with Lauren and Tammy, they were both just kind of like socialite. My job is to be here and look pretty. Even Pixie, you know, was like, my job is existing, I guess.
I liked the woman who was dressing herself to match her dog. I mean, that to me was incredible that she had that amount of time, energy, money. I mean, if I could do it, I would, but I can't. But that was amazing. I don't know why, but I love that.
I literally got served an ad today for, if anyone knows, there's the anime Inuyasha was a very what I was very into as a teenager, and it was like, do you want to have an Inuyasha like little collar for your cat, you know, and it has a little like bow tie type thing, you know, for so you can match like the main character. And I was like, oh, we could match. We could cosplay together. But
that's amazing. I will admit, because I want to finish the dissertation, Daisy has a graduation cap and gown for when that finally happens. So she has her own little, I mean, Max, I would dress up more. Daisy doesn't really let me dress her up as much as he would. He had his Patriots jersey. He had his little sweaters. Daisy likes to wiggle out of things. I'm like, no, for this, you're definitely going to have to wear it. So that's been put aside.
This is
she didn't
important.
have to wear her Bumblebee costume this year for Halloween, but this one, definitely, I'm like, nope, you're going to be wearing this someday. But I mean, I can't dress her up like I used to with my little guy. He would let me get away with anything. Daisy's a little too fidgety, but I love her.
Both of my cats, if I try to do anything to them, they either hide or they do the cat thing where they flop down as if they're have an off switch.
That's so cute.
So they're not happy. So I don't do that because I'm like, oh no, it's just mean. But
so someone up above, I have two different graphics for this. Someone up above mentioned the mother for Mimi Lee, and someone else mentioned Josh, the boyfriend. So I'm going to ask you, who do you want to talk about first, Josh or the mom? Because both of these characters are super entertaining and have a lot of different things that could be discussed. Who do you want to talk about first?
We can start with Josh. I will say, okay, here's something very funny. I used to work at a patent law firm.
So you understood exactly what was going on in this particular scenario.
Yes. I was laughing so hard because like I wasn't a lawyer or anything. I worked as like HR receptionist type of situation, but I actually did do some like not paralegal level, but I did do some work for some of the lawyers there. So I was also kind of like they pull a lot of hours, but I will say,
yeah,
if he is doing patent or trademark or patents or anything like that, why is he being a defense attorney for this woman?
Because he wants to date her. He's looking for an excuse to get close to her. I mean, granted, criminal law is not the same thing in any way, shape, or form, but apparently, like, he'll take any excuse he can get. But being a neighbor should also help give him a little bit of an edge to see her.
I'm filing a complaint, and he's going to be disbarred for practicing law he has no business practicing.
Mm-hmm. That's kind of funny. Although I love that he ended up, she helped him because he didn't bring in enough business. And like all of a sudden he has one of their biggest clients now.
I know.
His girlfriend saved the day. Like, go Mimi Lee. You just got your boyfriend a promotion. Like, he owes you this kind of amazing thing in his life. I mean, all the applause. And people are talking in the comments. So this is one of the things that we have to talk about, right? Like there's no love triangle in this book, and I am so not a love triangle person. So I appreciate the fact we have one guy, we're focusing on him. They became boyfriend, girlfriend very quickly. So do we approve and like that? Or do we want it, a little bit more of a slow burn? Because they very much saw each other and was like this instant connection. And he just kind of like, he did not hold back saying, I really like you. I mean, he did not play games. As soon as he was interested, he made his intentions known, and she liked him from the get-go. I mean, as soon as she saw him, I picture like one of those comical moments of like the hard eyes like, popping out of her head because she was attracted to him. And then every time he opened his mouth, she was like sighing in love with him, going, oh, he's so dreamy. So, I mean, I kind of see the setup for them to become an instantaneous couple, but it definitely happened super quickly.
I agree. I think it was a little too quick. I think because also, I don't know how much they fleshed out like Josh as a character. I think that was part of what I said, like with Mimi bouncing around a lot. You know, I think most of the scenes felt like they were 2 or 3 pages, which isn't a great amount of time to spend with any one character. So while Mimi felt a little more fleshed out, everybody else, unless they were more, if they weren't a caricature of the, you know, like old neighbor or, you know, whatever, or the MLM, you know, parent, the MLM friend, you know, Josh, I wanted a little more, like the Hawaiian representation, I think was really cool. You know, but I felt like that was kind of the only thing we were getting from him, you know, was like some cool things about his culture or cultural background, you know.
I liked that though. I really liked that we had like a different representation. I was going, hey, go Jennifer J. Chow. I like that you did that.
Oh yeah, I loved that. But I wish we had more. Yeah, I think it needed to slow down a little bit, especially because it did feel like it was like, so are we dating? Her bringing him home to meet her family before they've been on one date.
I just saw Krista's comment. Meeting a family right away would give me high anxiety. I kind of didn't blame him for not wanting to go right away. I mean, granted, he shouldn't have stood her up. He probably shouldn't have agreed to go in the first place, saying
but
we hadn't even gone out on an official date yet. So
their only date was like a lawyer, you know, like consultation.
So that I kind of
brought him home before he'd even kissed her. I was like my last, like the last person I dated, I think we were dating for at least like 6 months before I had her meet my mom, you know? And that's like, and like, if anyone knows about like female relationships, there's a joke about, it's called the U-Haul lesbians, because I'm bi, but like sorry I'm killing you again, but if you don't know, U-Haul lesbians,
you make me laugh and then I cough. So like this isn't like, I mean, I want you to make me smile. Like it's a good thing. It's like testament to how adorable I find her. But I'm like, you make me laugh and then I'm coughing. So I apologize, but I love her. Well, she's great.
So yes, U-Haul lesbians, if you don't know, is this idea that women tend to move very, very quickly and relate to a female relationship tend to move very quickly. You're basically getting a U-Haul after your second date. So like, I mean, that's not me, but you know, so I'm all for quick relationships, but like even that, I'm like, you do not bring that home to meet your parents, especially if they're intense.
Mm-hmm. Which her mom kind of gives those vibes in a way.
Oh my God, she's very intense, you know? I would like, yeah, oh no, I have another child. Come here.
Oh, the fur babies.
He's screaming. Sorry, the other one's here.
Oh, Fluffy. What a little face.
Oh yeah, this is the other one. So he's probably Marshmallow
big
size.
Boy.
Yeah, this is 20 pounds of cat. This is my cozy mystery companion.
20 pounds of cuteness and fluffiness and adorableness.
He would be the worst at solving mysteries. He doesn't have any thoughts in his head, and he can't be quiet. He just purrs all the time.
But he loves you and kisses you.
Yeah, he also has a bow tie.
They're very fashionable.
Yeah. Very snazzy. So no, he would be really bad at mystery solving because he would be purring while you're trying to sneak in.
I mean, I feel like they always have that random thing on Instagram, like my dog would trade me for a chicken nugget, where I'm like, yeah,
that's him.
I'm like, Daisy would go find the treats, or like she would see something and like go after and like, yeah, hi, I'm still in danger over here. Thank you. So Marshmallow does have his advantages.
Yeah, Marshmallow. Yeah, he's very cute. This is my roommate's cat.
Yes, I know, but I'm like virtual hugs to him. What a little
he's a sweet little man. But yeah, I will. So it was like, where were we? Josh. Yeah, I do think she met him too quickly. I think that's met the family too quickly, and I think that was part of why they moved a bit too quickly. Because like I'm fine with them being like, oh, you're cute, let's start dating. No, there's nothing. I don't know how to break this to you, Jess. This head is empty. He's never had a thought. This is
Oh,
completely empty.
but he's
Empty.
beautiful and sweet, and he
Yeah,
loves his
he's
mom.
pretty. This is a very empty-headed cat.
Oh, this is an interesting comment. The mother reminded you of Mrs. Kim with Lane, but not so conservative and much more loving, making her go talk to the principal, Mrs. Kim type move. That's a good reference, Mrs. Kim for sure. I didn't think of that, but I liked when Josh finally got the approval and he goes, "How do you know she approves of me? Because she's using her Manglish on you." I love
I
that.
loved that. Also, if there's any like vibrating, the cat's purring very loud. He's
So
purring
I have
so loud.
my little matchmaking mother graphic. Just thought I would throw that up there because this woman, I knew we had to talk about her, and obviously we can go back to talking about Josh. But this woman, when she ever sent the delivery boy as the date, so she sent, for those who may not remember or you're joining without having read the book, the mother decided to order a whole bunch of food, have it sent to the daughter's work, not even home, her work, I believe, and the delivery man was the date because she goes, you're going to deliver the food and then you're going to share it with my daughter. That was one of the setups. And then the other setup that I thought was hysterical, the guy who wanted career advice and the mother lied saying she was a vet and that all of us, gonna offer this kid advice on how to become a veterinarian. And nope, I'm a dog groomer, so I can't help you with the vet element. Going to medical school for animals, can't help you with that. Oh, and how old are you? Because you're still a teenager. I don't know where the mother was getting this matchmaking mentality. Not only was she very intrusive with it, she was not good at it. It's not like she was picking great guys. Like, that's the question. Like, it would be one thing if she's picking these great guys and Mimi's just, not attracted to them, or they, something's going
I would
wrong.
be insulted.
The guys she was choosing were so questionable.
Terrible. It was like, hello, yes. Are you a man and have a pulse?
Yeah, that
Here's
was
my daughter's.
That was basically.
Here's my daughter's phone number. I would be so insulted. Like, my mom doesn't like think anything of me. I must just, just like a man.
And it's not as if I'm, everyone needs to make a living. It's not that I was dissing the guy because he's a delivery driver. He was legitimately rude to Mimi Lee. And he thought he called her creepy and was giving her looks. And he was kind of, flippant. And she's going, no, this was my mother. This wasn't me. So regardless, like, you have the teenager, then the first guy that was the coffee date, he was also very inappropriate with like some of the comments that he made. These guys were not quality dates by any stretch. I'm sorry, but like, I would just write these guys off as a hard pass. They need to figure some stuff out first.
It was tough because like I wanted to like the mom more than I did some parts, just because she was so pushy and so mean about the men. Like, sending the awful people and then also making her go to see the principal. I was like, what do you want your daughter to do? Like, I've had like over a dozen jobs in my life, and which is, I know, I've done a lot. And so one of the things, I did work in an elementary school. I was a teaching assistant.
Copyright law, elementary school. They're very diverse array with your CV there.
Listen, when you have a degree in English and creative writing, you take what you can get. It's like, who will give me a job? So like, I just imagine if like one of my brothers walked into my, like, the school I worked at, the elementary school, being like, you need to give me a job. I would be like, or like, you need to let my sister keep her job. I'd be like, you're insane. Do not speak to my boss that way. I don't know. It was just very weird to me. I was like, but.
Well, can we also acknowledge she actually blackmailed the boss into keeping the sister because of the hedgehog? I mean, what a way to blackmail someone. I mean, you're a pet owner at this point. Marshmallow is your pet. You're a dog lover. You're an animal lover. And to use the cozy companion of this woman, of, you have an illegal hedgehog, what are you going to do about it? I was very surprised, but also I thought it was hysterical that the thing that she's using is another animal like it's another animal moment. Like everything had to do with animals in this book.
Yeah, I will say the sister's little side plot I think was a bit unnecessary. Yeah, I think that blackmailing the principal into making her keep her job, which I'm also like, I'm trying not to, it's like poke holes or whatever, but I'm like, listen, there is a teacher shortage. Like, there is no way you're just going to be getting rid of a teacher, like there's a huge teacher shortage. She could also probably get a job pretty quickly, like, but yes, using the hedgehog as blackmail, I was like, yeah, and then the principal just quits anyway. I'm like, if it was that easy.
But it's because she threw the pamphlet away near the receptionist and everybody hated this principal. So the receptionist must have been like, here we go. Interesting.
You know
Let's
who I
run
was
with
imagining?
this.
I was imagining Matilda's Miss Trunchbull as the principal. I just like immediately I'm like mean
Great
principal.
reference.
I'm like, it's Miss Trunchbull. It has to be.
I mean, the poor sister though. You'd think one phone. So Mimi decides very early on when she's being accused of murder that qualifies as an emergency for contacting the sister. So she first calls the sister with one, and then she calls again with the cell phone, and the cell phone rings. And apparently, this is when she's being monitored. The other person's watching her in the classroom, and because her cell phone rang, that warrants all sorts of apparently that's a huge problem. I mean, it warrants the teacher to scold her. That helps, get another check, like, oh, another, thing against you in the column. So I kind of don't, I mean, yes, she received a phone call, but she didn't know the phone call was coming. And I don't really think that's enough to warrant a response.
They also said that the real reason why she was like on, the chopping block was because she was too nice.
Yes.
Which I think Mimi even said they're kindergarteners. Of course she's nice. Like, I worked in a kindergarten as well. Like, and like,
I mean, it takes a very special person to be a teacher in the first place. Like you have to be very special to want to teach children, teach the same subject over and over again. But I feel like when it comes to younger kids in general, you have to have so much energy and patience. And I mean, there's such a criteria to, what goes on in the background with that human being. I mean, God love them. I mean, if you're a kindergarten teacher, like you do a lot. It takes a very special person to have that job. And you'd think someone would be like more encouraging or appreciative. And she seemed like a really good teacher.
Yeah, it was just it was a little bit of a bizarre side plot. I will say I think it was a little unnecessary. I guess maybe trying to make her seem or her help her family, which I did appreciate, but it felt a little maybe contrived, it was a little unnecessary, So also, why did her sister give her a cat? I'm sorry. Like, I just remember the last time, we were doing was people giving other people pets.
Yes.
I'm like, it's like, this is not a toy. This is a whole animal, and cats can live for up to 20 years. This is not a, I'm done with. Yes, animals are not gifts. And so I was losing it at the very beginning of this because I'm like, once she started a dog grooming business and you gave her a cat?
I thought the irony of that was kind of hysterical.
No. I was like, and also, I don't think they ever explained where this cat came from. She was just like, the shelter. I'm like, then you keep the cat. It was like, again, I understand for the plot reasons, but maybe she should have found the cat.
So going back for a second, I think maybe the reason why we have the sisters subplot is in this book, Mimi Lee reads between the lines. they find the dead body at the sister's school and she has to clear the sister's name. So maybe like we're supposed to get to know the sister in book 1 so that like when book 2 pops up with the sister's plot, you're like, oh, okay, we've been to the school. We know like there's a change in the system with the new principal. Like, I don't know, maybe it's part of the setup when she was planning this out. But I know the sister is the accused whose name they need to clear her name in the next ones. So maybe that plays into it. But I will say, I agree with you. Animals are not gifts. But maybe like the sister was going, okay, you are a loner. You need maybe something to love you. I mean, I feel like there might have been a thought process there, but I kind of would have liked to have heard it, seen it. Even if she gave her, this is my question, right? Like, if I would have expected her to give, here's cat food, here's the cat bed, like a whole big slew of things to help her take care of the cat. She seemed to just sort of give her the cat.
And then just like at the beginning of her like first day, like, hello, my brand new business. Like, it's something like 60% of small businesses fail in the first year. Yeah. And then I'm like, hey, I know you're doing a lot, trying to get your dog grooming business off the ground in LA. Here's a cat.
One of the most expensive cities in the entire world.
Yeah, like, here's a cat. Who obviously all cats too are very, well behaved and won't ruin a brand new building. So I like the sister a lot and I liked the family, but yeah, I was like, it was a really weird, like, but maybe again, I'm just immediately like mad whenever I'm in a book and somebody's like giving an animal. I'm like, maybe I'm too, I get too into the head of the character of like, if somebody gives me an animal, there's something wrong with that person.
I mean, it turned out to be the great gift, though. Marshmallow is the one who saves the day. Marshmallow does a lot of sleuthing. I was so entertained by the fact that this cat, I mean, yes, we have a talking cat, but I love that the cat was talking to other dogs. So for some reason, I got the biggest kick out of the cat translating what the dogs were like they were answering the questions she had about what was going on this night, who visited, do you remember this event? Like the cat was asking the dogs and the dogs would tell the cat, who would then tell Mimi. It was the weirdest game of telephone that I've ever encountered, and I
think Marshmallow was the real sleuth in this.
He was great.
I think Mimi was the sidekick. Mimi was definitely the Watson to Marshmallow's Sherlock.
So you think, okay, so she's not Sherlock, Marshmallow's Sherlock.
That's what I think. Mimi was just along for the ride,
He seemed to know what was going on in the vicinity because he's the one who would point stuff out, and he was in the secondary breeder's home and he's looking at different things and he paws off the mantle, the framed photo of the dog who was being used as like the breeder example for the other man's business, and going, look at this postcard, look at that, look at this photo. Didn't we see this before? He's the one who noticed these things. I mean, yes, Mimi was paying attention to things, but Marshmallow seemed to pick up on the details a little bit more than her.
Marshmallow even was the one that like pointed out like the bracelet on Cheryl that wasn't hers, that was like, look, it's a 24 karat bracelet, like, because apparently Marshmallow also knows like
Marshmallow was intelligent. Marshmallow was brilliant. I love this comment. Mama rocks too. It is called the Sassy Cat Mystery. Marshmallow is the star of the series, and you were spot on. That is a great comment. It is called, I mean, Mimi Lee, her name is in the title, but Marshmallow is the one on the side of the book. She doesn't appear on the side of the book until the very last one. Even then, she's still holding him. So,
yeah, I also definitely did get like a Disney like the talking animal in a Disney movie. Your animal
like sidekick, Flounder.
Yeah. It definitely gave Animal a sidekick, but like adult version, because he was so sad. I guess actually not even needed to be adult, because he did give like almost Sebastian vibes of like, this is a terrible idea.
This is funny. So Meredith R., this is one of my notes. So I thought you thought he was great, but I love that the neighbor wanted to rename him Emperor, and he's going, yes, I am an emperor. Yes, I am. And he's posturing himself. He's loving that name, the vibes. He didn't like his name, Marshmallow. He goes, are you fat shaming me? Like he calls her out on his name, but I I mean, I don't know how she came up with this, but he learned to read from the closed captions on the TV. I mean, for some those these are the details when I'm reading a book where I'm going, "Oh, that's so great," and pulls me in or makes me entertained or something. Like those are the things I love.
Yeah, I feel like some of the, Mimi had a couple very good questions um about Marshmallow, like how can you read, how can you talk? And of a lot of them I think were just kind of hand waved away, like closed captionings. Don't worry about it. I think some of that was just kind of it doesn't matter why he can talk, just
But he
keep
can't.
going.
But I mean,
Yeah.
can we also acknowledge like so I always when it comes to moments like this, I always think of Tim Allen from the Santa Claus when he goes, and in the morning I'm getting a CAT scan. I'm like, if I thought my dog was talking to me all of a sudden, I would assume I had a brain tumor or like there was something like actually physically wrong with me. She accepts so quickly that this cat is talking to her. I mean, it would take me a little while to come to terms with that. And then also when I realized that, I would be going, okay, what can I do with this? How do I like, am I supposed to protect you? Like, what's going on? I would have so many questions, and Mimi Lee just goes with it. So, I mean, I'm not really sure how people usually respond when a talking cat is involved, but I feel like I would not have had her response. I don't think I would have been as relaxed or as understanding.
I think that was kind of her as a character, though, because
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of what she did was just like, that's fine. Like, I'm going to go to this strange man's house in the, at night and confront him about like, it, or dog breeding and, like not illegal, but like unethical dog breeding. I'm just going to go to his house and confront him. Maybe walk inside his house. I'm like, no, don't do that,
Well,
or like I'm
I
gonna go
like
to
it
the
when she
principal.
acknowledges that it's dangerous too. We're like, oh, Josh wouldn't want me to do this. I'm going, no, he wouldn't, honey. Like, nobody would want you to go see this person who's potentially a murderer. But she acknowledges that and does it anyway. I mean, granted, she was fine until the very end when you have that confrontation. But I mean, she really didn't mind visiting the scene of the crime, going in at night, dressed in black. She really put herself out there.
Again, like I live in New York City. I have a healthy danger sense. I have done
You're also
some.
a woman. You live in a
Yes,
world where you're like
I am a.
you have to have that sense.
I'm also 5'2". I am a short woman. I am not intimidating. So like I'm just like, you just went to this man's house at night, and now you're going to go to, you're like, oh, well, now I'm going to go to this other man's house by myself, and it'll be fine. I'm like, so her being like, oh, my cat can talk. That's worth, 2 paragraphs. It was kind of like, okay, well, what, I guess that's just who she is as a person. Yeah, she did not have a lot of smart choices. I was like, again, I get it. It is for the purpose of plot that she needs to be in these places to get clues. But some parts I was like, can we please at least bring a friend? Not just the cat. Because like as
That's
much
what I
as
was
I
gonna
believe in
say.
Marshmallow, he's not gonna be able to do anything. Like, I was
I
like,
can't call 911 for you.
yeah, or something. Like, if you're attacked, like, please, at least, I don't know. You have Josh. Bring the boyfriend.
Because she
At one
actually,
point, she called Josh, and then she hung up with him and then called the police to like give him information. I was like, he's your lawyer. Why did you hang up with your boyfriend lawyer to then call the police without your lawyer?
yep. That was going to be the next thing I said. Yep, that's what I was going to say. She has the lawyer on call. I mean, at this point, right? Like she's the pro bono case. Then all of a sudden, she's his favorite case because she's the girlfriend. But she brought the donuts with the evidence, and she didn't tell Josh she was doing that. I mean, she definitely, you're shaking your head.
I'm also, I'm one of those, I've watched too many, like, true crime stuff where it's very much like, don't talk to the police unless you have a lawyer present, especially if if the police officer seems to be hell-bent on you being the murderer. Like, do not speak to him. He is, even if you are the murderer, don't speak to him. Like, you have, especially, you have an attorney, you need to, you haven't been charged of anything. Don't speak to him. Don't bring evidence with your fingerprints on it.
Yep.
Especially with the box that also now has your fingerprints on it, so they can.
Also, why was the mug the thing that he took from her home? So the detective had a warrant, and apparently the only thing he found suspicious was the mug that said positive or stay positive, PAW.
I think because it had a crack in it.
Yes,
so
but
the idea that the idea that she killed a man with a mug, and then it only cracked, didn't break completely, and then she decided to bring the mug home.
Yes.
She brought a mug to a man's house, killed him with it, and then brought it home. I was like, this was the most inept detective I've ever seen. He rolls up to her. Yes, he rolls up to her place of business. Ma'am, I think you killed a man. I didn't. Well, I think you did, and leaves. No, like, why were you there? At what time of night? Who did you see? What did you talk about? Like, bring her into the, interrogation room to, like, do an initial, get the facts. I'm like, again, I think Marshmallow is still the best detective, like, best sleuth, best detective. Yeah.
I mean, this detective,
it was very bizarre.
I mean, it has to, there has to be a reason why the sleuther investigates. And it was to clear her name because she was the main suspect. But the detective and the way he looked at her as the suspect, I mean, he really wanted to pin this crime on her. And her motivation, once you start realizing what the other characters have against this particular dog breeder, her motivation is pretty low on this list where everyone else is going, okay, is he cheating on the girlfriend? He is breeding dogs. He's making dogs ill. You have this, you have that. Oh, we have money in a cereal box because apparently that's something people do. So we have all these different things going on. I'm like, I don't think she would be my prime suspect. Just throwing that out there.
The person who, the only thing you have is that she yelled at him, which, like, again, if you, like.
So did the noisy neighbor who actually relayed that information. A lot of people
was one of my initial, like, she felt like the best red herring, because it was like, of course the neighbor wants him dead. He's running, a dog breeding business in his apartment. I'm like, or his tiny house. I was like, there was so many more people with way better motives. Cheryl was there the whole time. Why did we believe her? Why did the detective be like, oh, I have this receipt that I found in the fence?
I mean, he also believed that very quickly with her, because that was really the only evidence against Mimi Lee, was this woman saying, I heard yelling and this is what she said. So you had one witness, and then later turns out an unreliable witness because she then had to recant about the receipt. So I don't think her testimony would really hold a lot of value in a court system.
No, I was like, no. Again, I get the point of the, she has to be implicated so that she can continue trying to find these clues and, like, oh, I have to clear my name. But it was a little silly. I think this book was a little silly, and that's fine. Like, it's a little silly.
In, like, a fun, campy sort of way, though.
Yes, like, that's what I mean, like, campy.
Like, you kind of, I'm really interested because the stars are across the board. Like, people are like, it wasn't for me, which is totally fine. But other people loved this book so much because it was so funny because the tone of it. And if you go, I mean, it depends on what you come in, like your reading mentality is. But I think if you just open this book and go, oh yeah, I want to smile, I want to laugh, it will do that for you. I mean, it is definitely a ride, but I mean, it is very entertaining. The logic, we never find out why she can talk to this cat, and you kind of just have to be okay with that. So I think that's a lot of this, like, you just kind of got to go with the flow with this book. And if you can go with the flow, there are your 5 stars and your 4 stars. But if you want something where you're like, I need all the magical rules of this system and I need things explained in depth, like, this is probably not the book for you.
Yeah. And I 100%, you know, I sometimes have a hard time turning my brain off because I'm like, why would you do that? Why would you do that? How would you do that? You know, is how I kind of like, it was a lot of fun. Don't get me wrong. I think this book was a lot of fun and I did enjoy it. I probably, during a good portion of it though, you probably saw me making this face.
Like, why did that happen?
just me, so you can imagine it right now as me on the subway, you know, going into work. It's like 7 a.m. and I'm like,
you need to have that as like a reel of like, here are my reading reactions.
Yeah. So it was fun. Like, I think it was silly in a very fun way. But yeah, some parts I was like, oh, girl. The only thing, was when she was doing things that were actually dangerous. Like walking into a police station when she is the known, you know, like #1 suspect with her fingerprints now all over this box of donuts. You know, or like...
It's like watching a fun, cheesy slasher movie, screaming at the lead saying not to go into the dark basement. So yeah,
that's
like,
you
know, I like that reference. And then
that makes sense.
Michelle was saying Marshmallow was an unexpected joy. There's something to a character that's a cat. I mean, that's only communicating with one person and the dogs who's not. I mean, the communication of this cat was hysterical to me. I mean,
I did love the cat.
I mean,
I will say, if we wanted to get into the murderer at all, I'm so bad at this. I'm so bad at figuring out who the murderer is. My #1 was, I was like, it's Zell, the assistant, you know, to Magnus. She was one of my #1s, and Nicola was my real #1. And then, like, you know, and then I as the other assistant, because I was like, you know, motive, and I don't know what Zell's motive was, but when they were saying one of the pieces of evidence was he was talking to somebody called Kel, and then they were like, oh, they think it's Kale, and I'm like, no, it's Zell.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I was like, no, Mimi Lee thinks it's these people. I do not.
So at one point, Marshmallow and Mimi Lee are saying who their picks are for the killer, and both of them were wrong. So I thought that was funny, and the fact that they were having a conversation about these 2 characters, I immediately went, so it's not this one and it's not that one. Okay, who's left? But
I thought the 3 like main women, I was like, oh, you know, again, I don't read too many mysteries, so I was like, I feel like these are the 2 obvious picks. So you don't want to go with the main people who you think did it. You know, it's like these are the red herrings. So I kind of dismissed all of the main women, like Lauren, Tammy, and Indira. I was like, I don't think it's any of them. It's too obvious. Or like they're you know, they're too obvious of too main of characters, basically. You know, it has to be somebody else. That's what I've learned so far. It's the person you don't expect as much, you know? And I was like, oh, it is just one of the people that she thought it was, you know?
I think part of, I'm trying to think how to say this. We didn't know the full motivation behind the killing, and also the fact that she said she just wanted to knock him out. and it wasn't actually intentionally a murder lends itself to being a little bit more confused, because typically when it comes to the cozy mystery, it's, oh, who did this? Why did they do this? And an accidental death is harder to really figure out because it's an accident. And if they didn't mean to kill them, how are you supposed to figure out who truly wanted them dead if they didn't truly want him dead? So I was curious who figured out this mystery, because we didn't know that this woman, we knew, yes, she was getting divorced. Yes, her dog was ill, but we didn't know about the husband and her having infertility issues, and looking at the dog as the answer to their infertility issues. And now this dog is sick, and this is driving a wedge between them. So we didn't really know about any of that until the big reveal moment. So figuring out why she was mad, other than the fact that her dog was ill, and a lot of the dogs were ill, so it was the same motivation. If you were thinking about that, her motivation was the same as my dog is ill, which was exactly what was going on with another woman and the other dogs that were dealing with, this horrible breeder and what he did to them. So, I mean, it was the motivation that was, if you thought of that, it worked across the board, but it was going, okay, why is hers the one we need to zone in on? So I was just really curious if you were able to solve this particular mystery.
Yeah, because the motivation wasn't, murder. It was just money, was like, hey, I'm mad at you. And then you also, for some reason, have a bunch of money in cash, which I don't think was ever really explained. I assume it was from the dog breeding, but but my instinct, I'm like, oh, drugs, obviously. It's like, why else would you have boxes of money?
Well, because you're breeding dogs illegally, of course.
But it wasn't even illegally. He was registered. I guess he recently was unregistered, but yeah, I was just like, it was a little funny, I was like, okay, so you took the ketamine in the syringe, you syringed him, and then you hit him over the head? What was was it not enough to just drug this man? But, that's a part of it. I wasn't suspecting her. I didn't think she was, I didn't think as much of with her. I was more focused on Nicola as the assistant who's stealing everything, who then she hires, which I'm like, don't hire the person who is known for stealing from her boss.
Yeah.
But
I had questions about that one. Yes, she's turning her life around, but first of all, yes, at one point at the very end, her business is thriving, but is that financially sustainable? Is this what your business is going to be like from now on? Will you be able to employ another human being? I mean, I'm curious about if this woman is going to be a full-time employee. Is she part-time? I mean, is she still going to want to be an actress? I have a lot of questions about this particular woman that I need to figure out for book 2 and 3. So I'm curious what her storyline is going to be long term.
Yeah, I guess, if there can be a talking cat, you can have a small business that does so well that they can hire a new employee. It's fine.
If the cat can talk, yeah.
Yeah, so yes, I did not guess. I think I also had the problem with switching Lauren and Tammy too much as well. Mm-hmm. So I was like, oh, you also don't really, I didn't expect the PTA mom to be behind it. I was like, but yeah, I did not guess her. I was very surprised, especially with her coming in and like, her coming in and being like, I'm gonna murder you now. I was like, excuse me? Why?
I mean, I saw there are a couple people saying this in the comments. She said she wanted to return her dog. Yeah. And I fully agree, Mama Rock's here. It wouldn't matter if anything was wrong with my dog. The moment she was in my arms, she was mine. I saw this Instagram video the other day saying they just picked up their dog and then they realized something was a little off and it turned out she was blind, and then it made them love her even more. yes, he might need surgery, he might need to be taken care of a little bit more, but that's your baby, that's your little one. And so when she said she wanted to return the dog, yeah, that's
That
red
should have been,
flags. Oh.
yeah, alarms blaring, you know, like if you could return your animal, you could kill a man.
Oh, easily. You can look at that little face and go, bring it back. I don't want you. There's something wrong with you. You're defective. That is horrible. I
Yeah, I
mean,
think that should have been a bigger clue for myself, you know, was like, obviously there's something deeply wrong with this person. But I think maybe I was caught up with the everyone kind of makes very silly choices in this book. So, like, returning your dog will also be a silly choice, I guess.
well, I mean, if there's dog yoga and dog something else, there was dog yoga. There was
Dog
I mean,
surfboarding,
that
the
might have been it.
paddleboarding.
Oh, the
Yeah.
dog acupuncture. That's the one. I didn't know that was a thing. Is that really a thing? Does that exist?
Yeah.
That's
There's
hysterical.
dog chiropractors.
I just want to know about okay, how does this work with dogs and the needles? Because Daisy goes where Daisy wants to go. She is an energetic, in charge little miss. If someone had needles, I could not guarantee she would stay still long enough to have the full acupuncture experience.
You don't feel it so much. I've had it done like once.
Oh no, I've
But
had acupuncture done.
oh, okay. But like,
I've had it done
yeah,
a lot,
I was like,
actually.
there's no way. Especially you're thinking about like, depending on the dog. I'm sure some dogs would like the giant cat I showed. He would let you. He would be purring the whole time because you're touching him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and it's a good day. I'm being pet. Today is a good day. Or my mom has a giant 100-pound black lab mix. He would just sit there and be happy. I'm being pet. Today is a good day. But I'm like, oh my God, I could not imagine trying to get a dog to sit still long enough to put needles in them.
That's my question. And some people are talking in the comments that their dogs have gotten acupuncture. So, I mean, I've had acupuncture done quite a few times. When I was dealing with problems with my lower back, I mean, when you were in that amount of pain, you're like, I will try whatever you recommend. And I did acupuncture. I think I went once a week, every week for like 3 months at one point, and then it was every other month. So, I mean, I still go back repeatedly. But what they would do is they would, have me lie face down. She'd put the needles in, and I would be just on the table for an hour. And I can't imagine Daisy sitting still in a strange place when there are things to smell, things to see, other people she wants to, get to know. So, I mean, if there are dogs that are, able to do that, I mean, that's their personality. I'm just very impressed by that because I don't think I could get her to sit still that long. But I see this comment, T. They aren't feeling well, so they probably didn't want to move. That's a very fair point. I didn't think of that. But yeah,
But they
probably
are puppies. They're puppy Chihuahuas, though. So even if they're not, I would think, I mean, I guess it depends on the dog, but I would also think that maybe they'd be less likely to want you to do anything because, like, they're in pain, Like, the last thing I want when I'm in pain is to be touched more. Like, so, but who knows, I did think that was it was kind of a funny little, we'll get them acupuncture. It was a very, like, okay, sure. That's kind of how sure.
Like, this may as well be the case.
We'll get them acupuncture and then do 4D dog experiences. I'm like, sure.
I know these dogs are fictional, but I was concerned about them. I felt badly for them. Like, this is a fictional book. Obviously, we have a talking cat, but I mean, these little guys, I mean, there are breeders who do terrible things like that. So even though they weren't real, they were indicative of a bigger problem. I'm going, oh, these poor babies. Oh, these poor dogs. I'm like, I know you're fictional, but this happens. I'm like, I want to adopt them all. Like, oh, the poor babes. So, I mean, I know that
Yeah, I know, especially because, it does happen, especially with these, like, a lot of, backyard breeders or people who don't understand that, like, genetics, and that you need to, yeah. So I know I was like, you're a monster. It's like one of those people like, I don't care that he died. I'm like,
Oh, exactly. She created a character where you're going, I can see that being the victim. Like, I can see him being the victim. I'm okay with him being the victim. I'm not going to miss him. There's some characters that you feel badly for. You're going, oh, they're morally gray or there's some ambiguity. As soon as animals are involved and you're mean to them, I'm okay with you killing this character off. I'm okay with it. I will not be mad
or
at you.
like a character can be like unappealing or like you just don't like them, like they're not a good person, but that doesn't mean they deserve,
Yeah.
You're not happy they're dead. It's not like, oh, you were mean, at the bank. Death,
You cut
like
in front of me in line. How dare you?
This is death, sometimes I feel like I think a lot of cozy mysteries are so far that I've read, are pretty good about like making sure we're killing people that either you don't know, so you don't really care about them. So there's no emotional attachment, or you're like, they deserve it. I'm not mad that this person who is abusing animals can no longer do that. So yes.
Everything we learned, what's her face? Everything we learned about him made us like him less. Accurate.
Cheating,
every time.
Not paying his taxes, breeding dogs that like it unethically so that they have, genetic issues, like everything about this.
Meanwhile, everything. So Carrie's mentioning Mangus was a good guy when it came to caring for the puppies. Meanwhile, with him, it was the opposite. Everything we learned about him, every time something came out, the more I liked him. The more scenes he was in, the more lines of dialogue. Anytime something about him came up, I just kept liking him more and more. He rescued these puppies. He's taking care of them. He gets them groomed. He's making sure they're going to get adopted.
He's a romance book hero.
He is.
He's like built like a linebacker, and he's like, now I'm gonna take these dogs and I'm gonna put them in a tutu and dress them up like they're doing a little, proposal in front of the Eiffel Tower, and you're like,
that's great.
Good. Well, I love this man. I was like, oh, he's great. Get his lavender scented room. He's like, I'm gonna do aromatherapy. Now I'm gonna think of him as like a bro kind of voice, like that. We're gonna do some aromatherapy, brother.
I mean, every time he enters the scene, they're talking about how big he is, how his arms are huge, how muscular he is, and then he's picking up these little baby chihuahuas. I mean, it's such a contradictory image, but I think that's why I loved it so much.
Which is why I was mad when Mimi called the police and was like, I think it's him because he's large. Because he's a large person. I'm like,
and meanwhile, it's Tammy, who's also a little woman who just had a little, impact with the thing. But nope, not him.
Who filled a water bottle filled with sand.
Yeah, can we acknowledge how that's supposed to be like part of the murder weapon?
Did she bring the water bottle filled with sand to this man's house?
Yeah, I'm kind of wondering because she said she did it accidentally, but if you plan ahead with that sand, you have a plan because you brought that with you intentionally. That was not an accident.
This was very premeditated. This sounds like, oh, I didn't mean to kill him. I just hit him over the head a dozen times until he was, like, come on, ladies. Who among us hasn't, like, hit somebody over the head with a weighted water bottle after drugging him?
Yeah.
Over and over and over again. I'm like...
Yeah, because I walk around with sand in my water bottle. Not, just water.
Even when I lived at the beach, I didn't have that amount of sand in a water bottle.
But we find the sand, and that's a clue. We're supposed to figure that out.
I know, which was also a very funny little, like, oh, sand in the water. I'm like, I didn't think that she killed him with a water bottle.
That's also a very random murder weapon. I would not have figured that out. Although it does explain the mug a little bit more.
Yeah, except for, I guess, Yeah, I was a little confused about the water bottle. And then again, her murderous rampage at the end of the book is like, oh, let me kill the person that everyone thinks it is.
Yeah, I mean, if you have a scapegoat and you're trying to set them up as, I mean, why would that? I mean, that's a little illogical. But again, this woman is killing people, so logic's not really in her. That's not her forte.
I think it added to the like the melodramatic kind of goofiness, like this kind of like not slapstick, but that kind of kitschy, campy kind of goofiness is like that we literally had a villainous monologue at the end.
Yeah. I mean, I can picture like that twirly mustache moment.
Yeah. I talked to a guy at the PTA to turn off your lights so that I could sneak into. So I hid your phone beforehand, snuck in, and she's very premeditated.
But can we also acknowledge the mother is the one who called the cops because her daughter was not responding to her answer? I mean, so she doesn't answer the phone, so I'm going to call the cops, and therefore that's going to help save the day.
It would be like probably 2 days before my mom would call the cops if I didn't answer the phone.
Well, it's usually 48 hours before the cops would even do anything, let alone 48 minutes of not answering a phone call. I mean,
I guess it's because the detective was like, oh, obviously I'll catch her doing something else, So that's why obviously the cop came. But yes, I know. I was very happy the mom's meddling came in handy and it wasn't just another like, mom. And that, yes, it was nice that happened. I was expecting somebody to save her. So I was kind of happy that Marshmallow did it. To an extent,
I like that he saved the day. He's the hero. And yet he still thought, I was devastated for this little guy. Again, he's fictional.
I know.
He thought she was going to bring him back to the shelter. And she had to tell him, no, you're family. You saved my life. You're now a Lee family member. You're part of the Lee family. And
I didn't even remember that. So I was like, what is he talking about? I thought at first, I thought he lost the ability to talk at first because he just wasn't speaking. So I was like, oh no, was his powers all to do with solving a mystery? So I was happy that, they had their cute little moment. Marshmallow Lee. It was
Marshmallow
cute.
Lee. It's so sweet. I would have, I mean, obviously when I'm saying the lady wanted to return the dog, I would not have been able to be like, this is a great book. I recommend it. Or, oh, let's read book 2. If she had ever given this cat back, I mean, granted, I know there's a book 2 and everything else, but if she had given that cat back, I would have been like, I am done with everything. Like, I know my entire day would have been ruined. So I'm going, I mean, I knew she was keeping this cat, but I felt so badly. The cat even doubted it for a minute. I was mad that he even had doubts.
No, there's no way they could have given the cat back. That would have been like, I feel like that's the antithesis of cozy,
Exactly.
It would be like, having it would be like killing the main character. You can't have Mimi die at the end,
No.
I don't think that would not be cozy.
No. Like, I mean, we knew she was keeping this little guy. I just felt badly he doubted it. I mean, if Daisy ever looked at me like, Mommy, are you not coming back at the end of the day? Like, if she ever doubted I was coming home or something, like, it would break my heart. Like, no, of course I'm coming back for you, my baby. I mean,
my cat thinks that every time I leave, so,
oh,
but he screams at the door. So I kind of, maybe it's just a cat being melodramatic because they're very melodramatic creatures, So, yes.
oh, apparently book 2 explains more of his story. So
interesting.
I know. I want to know why he can speak to Mimi. I want to know how he ended up on his own with Alice needing to rescue him in the first place. Yes, we need to learn about Marshmallow and how he became the Marshmallow we know.
He must have had a real name too then.
Well, I mean, because he's supposed to be 4 or 5 years old?
Yeah, so he has a name. If he can speak, he should have just told her, no, this is my name. But
he liked the name Emperor. He did make that known.
yeah. Now I'm curious, because now I'm very curious. I'm like, I think I got this from the public library, you know, so I think they had the second book as well. So maybe I'll have to check out what is Marshmallow's origin story. He killed a man. That's what my that's my he killed a man. Marshmallow had to leave San Diego because he murdered someone. He's on the lam. And that's why Detective was so suspicious of Mimi, because he recognized Marshmallow.
Yeah, I'm trying so hard not to laugh because I know it's going to cause a coughing fit. I'm like, where do you come up with this? Oh gosh. I mean, I want to know about it. I mean, I am curious now in the comments section if you were going to read book 2. I mean, I posted the poll and I ended it so we can see the results. So it says 48% of everybody, it says 48% of the people who voted gave it 4 stars, 30 with 3 stars, 15% with 5 stars, and 6% with 1 or 2 stars. So it looks as if a lot of people enjoyed the series, you know, book 1. So I'm curious who's going to continue on with the series. I just saw it says it was self-defense. He smothered someone. I'm seeing the comments pop up. So
there's no proof. There's no proof that it was him.
I mean, also, if you're the detective, are you going to be looking at the cat as the killer? Are you really going to put him on your suspect list, your board, your murder mystery board? I mean, you could. But, like,
they would have deserved it.
What would he do to provoke Marshmallow?
It's a cat. Anything. You rub his belly and he wishes murder. I literally have cuts on my hands from like trying to rub my cat's belly, and the cat is like, I see you've fallen into my trap and have chosen death. If my cat wouldn't try to kill me, but there are many people that enter this apartment he would try to kill if he could.
I just remember growing up, my mother's cat, she had the cat before she had me. So this cat, I could just be walking in the hallway and this thing would attack me. I mean, I still have like a couple scars on my ankles from when this little thing would just like sneak attack. I mean, that is just walking. So I kind of get what you're saying. It's a little too
my cat,
real.
We have little a bird feeder. The detective would suspect a cat.
That detective would. Yeah, he would. Do you remember? Have you ever seen Brooklyn Nine-Nine when he's like, the cat did it? That's what I'm thinking of right now. I'm just picturing Terry Crews and how they kept sending him kittens. I'm like, yeah.
Well, like my cat, we have a little bird feeder on the outside window because we have a pair of mourning doves that come and they like roost outside, and they're very cute. So we have a little bird feeder to entertain the cats. And my cat full body slams. He is 12 pounds. This is not a small cat. And you hear a thump as he full body slams against the window to murder these birds. It's been there for like 2 years. He cannot murder these birds, and he knows it. It will not stop him. Someday he will kill one, and he's very excited about it.
That's kind of hysterical.
And he looks like that. You saw him. He looks like Marshmallow, a sweet little baby angel who could do no wrong. Like sugar wouldn't melt on his tongue. He's so sweet. But he is filled with evil.
Filled with evil?
Yes. Sometimes this is how cats are. They just have a little evil in them. I love cats. I'm literally wearing a cat shirt. I love cats. A lot of them are a little evil.
That's kind of hysterical. And I'm like thinking like, she has a point. Like, yeah, the ones I've met, yeah, I can see that.
Like my cat loves me, and I literally will have cuts all over my hands from him playing. You know, I'm like, he could murder if he would murder if he could. Oh, good to know. Campiness continues.
So as long as you're ready and game for that, it seems like this might be your series.
Yes, some cats are very evil. I will tell you. People are like, a little evil is an understatement. Some cats are very evil. Like, you can tell that this cat, some cats you can tell if they were human sized would murder you with glee.
Jeez.
Again, I love cats. Yeah, see, that's a killer. This is the skin of a killer, Bella, from Twilight.
Oh, jeez.
This is the skin of a killer. The little toe beans are for sneaking up on creatures so they can kill. So.
Well. I mean, I was just looking like if it. That's why I own dogs. That's kind of funny. I was gonna, if you guys have any other comments, questions, something about the book you want to discuss, something you were hoping we would touch on that we haven't yet. I think we've touched on all of my notes. I was just going through. I have a couple of things. So I think I will just throw in the only other thing in my notes as I look over, because I took a screenshot of a couple of them. So I love that we have a random Clue reference for family game night. They played Clue. For some reason, I thought that was such a clever inclusion to have a kind of mystery shout out within a mystery. I don't know why. I just love that. And then the fact that they were all bad at it and our sleuther is losing at this game and the mother's the one who wins and she's terrible at the game. Josh is the one who figures it out, but no, he does not take the credit.
She should have brought him. And then he let the mom win was very cute.
That was very sweet.
I will say, Clue is available, like on Steam. If you like to play, like it's available online as like a game that you can share with friends. So what I'll do with we'll be over like a Discord call, and you can we can all play Clue together. So we do that. I have a group of friends that we do. If we're not playing Dungeons and Dragons, an off week we'll end up playing like Clue or something.
It's so cute.
Which is super fun. I'm not good at it. I never win. So I guess I'm like Mimi. I just wouldn't win. I'm not very good at it, but it's fun.
Hey, you're playing with people who you get along with. I think of it as an experience. I don't always think of things like I need to solve this. I need to win. You're like, I'm just having a good time. I'm along for the ride.
No, it's a lot of fun too. Even if you're playing with people who are very good at it, it's still fun.
And Jess Loves Cozy. What is the June book? So I can't believe, I think I say it every single month, but I'm like, how are we in May? And I get to hit this checked off box. So, I mean, can you believe that this is where we're at? How is 2025 blowing by this quickly? But the June book is Take the Honey and Run by Jeannie Martz. And so here is the book blurb. Everything is always posted across social media platforms. So yeah, we have a bee-themed cozy mystery for June. And so definitely, I mean, I am just... I am blown away by the fact I'm saying June. The June email newsletter is in the works. Everything. June is going to be a busy month, though. I'm actually doing an extra series of events. So you are a writer. So one of the things I wanted to do was I need to catch up on my own creative writing, and I wanted to schedule it in. And I thought, if I need to do this, why don't I extend the offer to other people? And so I organized it so that every Tuesday in June, I'll be doing a write-in. So at 7 p.m. EST, I'll be right here on YouTube. And so there are 3 Tuesdays that are going to be write-ins, and the 4th Tuesday is book club day. So every Tuesday there's going to be a live stream. So if you need to get some words written, and it could just be you writing a blog post, if you want to get your Instagram captions done, I'm going to be organizing it so they're 15-minute writing sprints. So if you want to join, please do. So at the end of each writing sprint, say hello, check in, let you know what your word count is, what progress you've made, any epiphanies. So I haven't been making as much I haven't been making as much progress in my creative endeavors. I mean, I actually have this I have a full-fledged like Pinterest board downloaded. Like I have the mood boards, like I have the characters written out, I have names, bios, and I have most of it plotted. I just need to write it at this point. And so I've had so much fun just plotting it out. I'm like, but I need to actually put in the effort and work now. So let's take this and implement that. I mean, It needs to
The
happen.
only way I get work done is because I helped run a writers group here in Brooklyn. And again, that's like because I have to help run it like 3 or 4 times a month, I'm like, I have to get words in. So it's the only reason why I finished like any of my other books, and now I have a draft one done of this one I've been working on. So I'm like, okay, but now I have to edit it.
Yes. I mean, I feel like this is it's a process. And, even if I finish things, but I'm going, no, I feel like this one was a learning experience. And, I just kind of will put that one aside. I'm like, okay, maybe I'll revisit this. But this one, I wanted to start fresh, new story, new characters, because I want to be able to just fully have fun with it and make it. I mean, I'm not going Mimi Lee campy, but I am going pretty campy with it. And I needed to be in like a good headspace to do that. And I think I'm there, even though I sound like this tonight. I'm in a good mood. But, I think I needed to be ready to take on this project. So, I mean, if you want to come and edit, you are welcome to join. But I mean, I thought this would be a nice way to hopefully get together and do something creative. I give you so much credit for organizing those. You said 3 times a month. I mean, I'm very proud of you. I'm like, now she's editing. She has a romance. I don't want to like tell them if you're not, ready to mention it, but she has a romance she wrote that I have never read, but I want to read it in the worst way that has to do with a certain shifter. And someday I want to read this book. It needs to be published and put out into the world. So she has things she needs to accomplish, people. I mean, I have your Medusa retelling over there somewhere. I need to actually have you
bear book.
Yes, I need to have you sign it for me.
I have that one out. I'll have to send it to you. That one's out. I have like a cute cover that my friend my favorite thing about being indie pubbed is that I can just like give money to artists so that they can make pretty covers for me. So yes, I have the Bear Shifter book is out.
It is.
Yes, I'll have to send you a link. Yes, it is out.
Okay, because I need to read this. I've been excited for this book from her for years with her Bear Shifter, who's also a baker. And I mean, I was sold on the premise immediately. I love shifter romances. And this is probably why you liked Magnus and why he appealed to you as a romance hero. You like that little cinnamon roll.
I love cinnamon roll heroes. I love a man that looks like they can crush you, but is actually like the nicest person, That's like, I love that kind of stuff. So that's my favorite.
Like, you're actually a big teddy bear on the inside.
Yes. The bear. Yes. That kind of thing is my favorite. So.
And I'm thinking
cinnamon roll men. But this, I'm working on a romantasy now, so I don't expect anything from me that is of any kind of like sticking to one genre, because I'm like, hello, this is paranormal taking place in modern time in Maine. JK, this one is in ancient Greece and is a female romance. And now I'm like, no. It's fantasy.
But I'd rather you write the story you want to write and write the story that's like in your heart than being like, no, I have to stick to my genre. This is how I'm establishing myself. I mean, writing across the board is totally fine. So, I mean, I fully support you in that. I mean, I also fully support her in everything she does anyway. But I think trying to pigeonhole authors can be problematic. So if you want to write Greek mythology and then a romantasy, you do it.
Just whatever makes you happy. Write what makes you happy, and that's what I live by. And read what makes you happy, write what makes you happy.
That I'm like, and that's I'm like, we could end on that. No, like that's amazing right there. I think I mentioned I mentioned the write-in. We mentioned next month's book. If anyone has any questions, now is the time. But I think I mentioned everything from my notes. The only other thing I'll kind of just touch on is if you take a photo of our monthly book club read, please tag the Cozy Mystery Book Club account. I mean, literally use @Cozy Mystery Club, because Instagram is forever changing with their algorithms, their layouts, everything. So sometimes, even when it comes to the hashtag the Cozy Mystery Book Club, sometimes it gets pushed down the feed because things are not chronological anymore. So if you ever post a photo, please feel free to tag me, send it to me directly, because I want to see your photo and I can share it to the stories and feed, and maybe you'll be a featured sleuther post in the next email newsletter, because I want to make sure I see and share the coziness. And then If you do post a photo, you are entitled to a Sleuther bookmark. So send me the link to your post as well as your mailing address, and I'll take care of the rest. So that was the only other thing in my notes. And I'm pretty sure, yes, we love the cinnamon roll men, people in the comments.
Yes.
I just saw that.
On the inside. That's one of my favorites. I love a cinnamon roll hero.
I agree. I think they have a whole list of them on Goodreads. I mean, I've gone through that list a few times. So, and before I lose my voice, is there anything else you want to talk about? Is there anything else about this book you want to touch on, mention? I already put up where people can find you, but I'll throw it up here again. If there's something else you want to mention, now is the time to do it.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, you can feel free to message me, whatever, if you want to talk books. Happy to do that. Yeah, no, I don't think so. I this book was a lot of fun, and I had a lot of fun reading it. I like silly books. I'm a silly person, so
and you like cats, so it was right up your alley.
It really is.
And
I
then
don't know where my children are, my cats. So,
and then Jennifer J. Chow has been a part of the Cozy Mystery Book Club world for a long time. We actually previously read Death by Bubble Tea. I don't know if it was last year or the year before. So we read another book from her. I have a YouTube interview with her. And then I also have it saved as a podcast interview for the Chatting Cozies podcast. She was a part of our former Cozy Mystery Day, Agatha Christie's birthday celebration. So she's done a few things with me. So I just want to mention and say, if you want to go just look at a couple of the links here on Books Are My Heart, there are a few things featuring Jennifer J. Chow. So if she is an author you enjoy, there are plenty of things here for you to learn more about her and experience just the Jennifer J. Chow fun, because she is such a sweet lady, and she's one of those fun people where I get to say she is not just a talented writer, she is a really nice person. So there's plenty of stuff here. If you want more Jennifer J. Chow fun, I have got you covered. So I can always share those links again, but here are a couple of QR codes. But if you are interested in book 2, maybe we can record a future buddy read podcast episode or something, because I thought this was a great book. I enjoyed the fun. I like silliness. I like embracing fun. I like cozy companions. So this book was kind of right up my alley because I wanted something fun. So I'm very happy you enjoyed this book too.
Yes, it was a lot of fun. It was so much fun. I read it very quickly. You know, it was like, even if it was silly, I was like, all right, go off, you know? Again, I'm still voting for Marshmallow as the real detective or the killer or both.
That's fair. And I'm just seeing your comments. Thank you for your well wishes. Yes, I was traveling with my mom, and I think I just got back the other day. And so I think I must have picked something up between traveling with tourists and being in, public, being around so many people. So hopefully
I get it.
But I think this is the whole, beauty of a virtual book club. I can't transfer any of the germs your way. So I just sound badly. I'm not actually going to get you guys sick, but thank you so much for your well wishes. I really do appreciate that. And hopefully my voice is not too off-putting, because I will be saving this as a podcast episode. So I'm really hoping that that's not going to be an issue. So I appreciate your support and your understanding. And you guys are very sweet for hanging in there and joining us tonight and reading the book. And you are just such a lovely human being. I'm always so happy to chat with you. And
I'm always happy to be here. I know. It's good. It's a great excuse. Also, Jess Loves Cozy said, please write the U-Haul Cozy. Now I'm like, oh no.
You're like, maybe I got to join the writing sprints just so I can do it during that.
Just so I can write a lesbian U-Haul cozy mystery.
Well, we also, cozy mysteries have gotten better with diversity, but I'm always for more diverse representations in cozy mysteries, and I don't think I know one of those off the top of my head. So you might be filling a need in the cozy mystery subgenre over here. Just saying.
Oh no, my brain is just like, it's just firing now. I'm like, oh, that would be fun.
And now she's game, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm already gone. I love seeing you, but my brain's already.
Well, we'll leave her to go plot her new cozy mystery as well as her romantasy. But thank you for joining as a guest hostess. You were lovely. I included all of her information as well as You're welcome back anytime. So if you enjoyed this conversation, she was a part of our February book club. So if you want to go listen to her talk more about cozy mysteries, we go check out A Lady's Guide to Etiquette and Murder. The video is here on YouTube. It's saved as a podcast episode. And this will hopefully be a podcast episode in the relatively near future, but it's always going to stay live here on the YouTube channel. So I can see in the comments. Thank you guys for joining tonight. And thank you again for reading this book. I really hope you enjoyed it. And I hope next month you're able to join to talk about some bee coziness with Take the Honey and Run. So thank you guys for staying and chatting, and please stay safe, kind, and healthy. And as always, happy reading, writing, and sleuthing. Bye, everyone. Maybe.